for 6:03? Is that what your computer says? 6:03, yeah. Can we, stand for the, where's the flag is on. Pledge of Allegiance?
No.
Is that what your computer says? The stand for the, where's the flag is on. Pledge of Allegiance? We have another meeting. Sorry, Ed.
Maybe you might want to mute the sound on that,
Yeah.
because it looks like we're a few seconds behind.
Yeah, but we weren't saying it. This is the YouTube.
Good to see you again.
Okay.
You too.
Hey, how are you? You can help us out here. We're just live stream and then
Okay, so you can click off of that now because it's streaming, so you're good.
just click.
And it should not have any more feedback. So you go back into your Zoom meeting.
Okay. Which?
On the bottom, a
On the
little.
bottom. Oh, there it is. Yep.
Square there, yeah.
Oh, there we are.
It should be
Oh,
good now.
much better.
Okay.
Oh,
Because
thank you.
it's playing the YouTube video over the computer, which is causing
Yeah.
feedback. Okay. Thank you.
Are we ready? Yes. I
pledge
allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You're gonna say good? You want to come up here? Okay. Public participation. Jamie, do you have anything to say as a member of the public?
Not in a moment, maybe shortly.
Dave?
The council is going through the budget process. Last night we met for another special meeting. We've not brought forth from either side of the aisle any additions, corrections, deletions, whatever. That will happen at the next council meeting. It's a regular council meeting on the 9th. That's next Tuesday. Last night there was a public hearing, but it was based on the manager's budget since the council did not make any changes. But would I say the bulk of the meeting last night, or a good part of it, had to do with the senior center? And I'm sure it will be discussed later on, so I won't go into detail. I'll just briefly say that the council passed a resolution for, correct me if I'm wrong, $75,000 to go towards Meals on Wheels and the congregate meals program that had just recently been cut drastically without much warning to supplant for those monies that were lost. The council agreed to do that from our ARPA funds that we have for the town that hadn't been totally spent. And also we said that we wanted to do that, and so it wouldn't affect ARPA funds that were coming specifically for the senior center that were planned methodically as to what to do for the center and not eat into that. And basically that's it for the moment. And if you have any questions, fine. I'm sure later on you'll talk in more detail about that situation, but at least it's partly, I won't say resolved, but helped by the council coming forth with $78,000 to help supplant an ongoing possible problem. That's not our fault.
Thank you. Every year they seem to do this. Although
This is particularly bad, but
yeah, this
you'll
is
learn in a little bit.
Right. Okay. Approval of the meeting minutes. Did everybody get them and read them? I wasn't there, so I'm trusting that Elizabeth was spot on. She usually is. Anyone, okay?
Yes.
All right.
And we should approve the January minutes as well, unless you didn't have a chance to.
Oh,
They weren't recorded. Elizabeth wasn't here. So she actually just completed the recording, and I don't know if everybody's had a chance to read it. If not, we can do it next time.
Okay, I just printed it off today. Did everyone else get a copy?
Yeah.
Did you read it or do you want to wait? You're okay with it?
I'm okay.
All right, thank you. So the January 3rd and the March, what was the date? Sixth meeting minutes were approved. Staff report, you're on.
Okay. First, I just wanted to let everyone know that our new employee, Maria Zayas, is working out very well, and she's as trained as she can be at this point. So she's going to start going solo after Friday, when Karen Halpert and Mary Gallagher that will be their last day helping out. So Maria's just jumped in with both feet. She's getting to know everybody and doing a tremendous job. So we're happy to have her on board. What's happening for April? We have a lot of programs for April. I'll just maybe highlight a few of them. We have a woman coming in who is going to be talking about preserving and utilizing home equity, a guide for seniors. Just letting people know the importance of maintaining their home, if they're going to stay in it or if they want to sell it. So this is a new presentation. We're also going to bring in a belly dancer who's going to do a short demo and then a class. So I think that'll be something fun and different to do. ARP is going to be back with their driver safety course. We seem to be running this about every 3 months, and we typically fill it with 25 people each time. We also will have a presentation on pre-planning funerals, on weight loss medications, about diabetes and Medicare Advantage programs. And we'll have the Central Connecticut Health District coming in to talk about hepatitis C and provide vaccinations if people want to get a vaccination on site. Just need to bring their insurance card. And those are some of the highlights for the month. Also, at the end of the month, we'll be having or hosting the townwide art show as we have in the past, where the Newington Public Schools and the Newington Art League will display their works of art around the building. So we look forward to having them here again. More artwork will be out in the hallways and the display cases this year than in previous years, where we've blocked off rooms where they can display it on tables. So they'll be able to leave it up for a longer period of time, having it on the walls. It allows us to use our space like we normally do, and not have to save programming, for another time when the Art League and the schools are here.
So they can come in anytime and see the artwork, or is there a schedule?
There's a schedule. So starting April 24th, the Art League's artwork will be up the 24th, 25th, and 26th, and people can come in anytime during our business hours. And then the Newington schools will begin their show on April 24th. And theirs will run through May 3rd. And again, during business hours. But they will be having a reception, like an opening, both for the Art League and the schools on the 25th in the evening. So
Yeah, I've heard from my neighbors with grandchildren that it's very popular. People love having it here.
yeah, oh, that's good. Good to hear.
Yeah.
Now that we don't have it in the town hall anymore.
This much better place. Excuse me.
I'm kind of partial to it. That's really all I have for staff report this time.
Okay. Old business, we're gonna talk about the budget.
Can I ask a question about the budget
Sure,
or about what he read? Okay.
absolutely.
One question is, do we know how much the deficit was? And the second question is, if the state finds the money and replenishes the program, is there a stipulation on your money that it has to go back to the town's funds?
It's a big question as to where it fell through,
Mhm.
and it's federal money, it's not just state money. People, others will correct me if I'm wrong. And the monies that were given to the senior center, I believe they aren't used or would be reimbursed, but given how slow government works, this is an ongoing thing and monies are needed now.
Mhm.
And any change that may happen to the better, if it will, wouldn't happen until January 1st of next year. So, can't answer some of your questions, nor could anyone.
Because-
else.
That's right.
Well, because it's ARPA funding that the council allocated, if it's not utilized, if more funding comes through or we get some big donations that will cover anything not utilized, we can encumber by the end of this calendar year, but we have until the end of 2026 to use it. So you can put it aside as a little bit of the savings account should this happen again in the future.
And it's ARPA funds. It has
Right.
nothing to do with the budget for last year or the budget for next year.
So there's no,
That's one of the few positive things, that it doesn't affect the present budget or the budget that's being discussed right now, because it's coming out of those funds, which are not coming every year because they came into being because of COVID.
so like, making sure, so there's no, I believe is what you said, there's no stipulation, we could use it in other net funds if necessary, if other funds come up. We don't have to allocate it back to the town council.
No, you wouldn't allocate our funding back to the town, it would just, like I said, be saved for, it has to be used for the same reason in the future. And I guess supposedly, if worst case scenario, not worst, could actually be a good scenario, if it doesn't happen again,
Mm.
we could end up actually just forfeiting funds but that wouldn't be until the end of 2026. I'm pretty confident based on past experience, that we'll probably run into the same situation again. So this builds up a little bit of a savings for us to have something to fall back onto in the future.
Do we know, this year what the deficit was, like how much money we're missing from that program, because of the grant program?
I do not.
Newington, well, the CRT serves dozens of senior centers, so we're by far not the only town in the same boat. I have no idea what their budget shortfall would be. It's a very complicated funding stream, very complicated. There's a fiduciary and there's several different funding sources. But CRT is responsible for its own budget and its own purchasing. So it's almost impossible to really follow or identify where the shortfall came from. In Newington alone, to replace the meals at the going rate, the shortfall was about $95,000 through October 1st.
So we have most of it. That's what I kind of wanted to know, so it's most of the budget.
We have most of it and it's not going anywhere.
And you found other ways of hopefully having materials or funds coming forth to supplant to the 95,000. At the meeting last night, I know I said this, that if indeed more funds are needed and they're available to additional ARPA funds we haven't spent, that there is a year that is very friendly that would do that. So the citizens of the town are able to contribute in whatever ways they can to make it more of a community effort. And the one thing I was thinking, though I didn't say anything about it, is that if you fund the whole thing, there are people generally who in the community, not anyone here, who will think, oh, well, the town will just take care of it. And not know the details of why we can take care of it in a funding way this year. So,
I believe in the past, we've had like Jefferson House and some other restaurants that have donated. I think we got pizza. I'm not sure who paid for what, but I know you guys have done an amazing job getting meals every day.
Pre-pandemic, we have had, much smaller reductions. So in 2019, they closed down congregate meals 1 day a week for 5 weeks. So we only had to replace 5 days worth of meals. So we got pizza and Jefferson House donated pasta 1 day. And 1 day we just bought the pizza out of our donation account, so it wasn't really that much money. This is 24 weeks of meals, 3 meals. It's something like 107 meals per week just for a congregate times 24 weeks. Plus 207 meals on wheels, so it's 314 meals a week times 24 weeks. So we're replacing far more than just a couple pizzas worth of meals this time, unfortunately.
plus the meals on
Correct.
wheels, that are given are specialized, geared towards the specific person. So you couldn't just say, well, we don't have this, we'll just send pizza tonight, or.
The past cuts have been a drop in the bucket compared to what we're facing this time.
Wow.
Could someone explain what ARPA fund is? Where does that money come from? I don't.
I'm not familiar with it at all.
No, I wouldn't expect me to. ARPA funding is American Rescue Plan Act, thank you. It is federal money that was devised during the pandemic that is allocated to municipalities. So Newington's received a couple of rounds of ARPA funding. It has to be used for specific reasons. The municipalities, it's up to them to figure out how to spend it. So several months ago, the town of Newington was allocated $2 million in ARPA funds. The town manager at the time made recommendations on how to allocate most of it, mostly to CIP projects or larger projects. That they can't be projects that would be in your normal budget. So you can't use it to you can't just apply $2 million to your operating budget and reduce it. It has to be for things above and beyond, but they have to kind of be related to programming or COVID recovery or infrastructure. The town has about $250,000 left in ARPA funding that we have to figure out what to do with by the end of this calendar year, December 31st. So the town council last night very kindly allocated money out of that fund. It's federal funding, one-time federal funding. It's not recurring.
Oh, okay. All right, thank you.
Okay, any other questions?
You ask the
I
question.
think I should.
Just to clarify, so the $75,000 that the town council approved for allocating for the senior center, that's ARPA money
Correct.
that's been given to the senior center. And then, how do we plan to use that money as the 75,000? Is that gonna go to the CRT that is specifically for Meals on Wheels or in CRT or?
You don't have to step on your toes.
No, that's okay. Go ahead.
The Meals on Wheels replacement is a significant portion of it. I don't have the numbers in front of me. I think it's about $56,000.
Yeah.
We don't really have an option for the Meals on Wheels, but to purchase them from CRT because we don't have the means to produce them in-house. We don't have a dietitian. We don't have, somebody who could identify everybody's dietary needs and create their specific meals. Some people get their meals ground up, they have to be packaged a certain way. So we don't have logistical way to create Meals on Wheels in-house. So we can't have pizza delivered. We can't get grinders, it has to be very specific food. So those meals will be replaced by purchasing them from CRT. We will enter into an MOU with them like tomorrow because it starts on Monday.
Yeah.
And we will purchase the meals. So there will be no change. There'll be no interruption in how that program proceeds, except that we're paying for the meals now. But they'll still receive them every day, just like they always were. For the congregate meals, we will, some days when they're offering us 27 meals, but we have maybe say 40 people coming, we will likely purchase the remaining 13 meals from CRT again, just for logistical purposes with a tiny staff. We can't really be serving two different things to different people and you have people fighting about which meal they get. And on the days when we have no service, our goal is to either have meals donated to us or purchased from local restaurants, housing sites. We could maybe work with the schools. So we will not purchase meals from CRT on those days. I prefer to purchase support local restaurants on days where we're not being sponsored.
Yeah.
CRT meals tend to be a little expensive. So for the Meals on Wheels, it's $11.40 per meal. And it's $14.85 per meal for the congregate. So we could probably do a little bit better than that. If we can partner with, like she said, the school possibly, and have them make us meals at their cost, or Jefferson House, like you were talking about. Avery Heights will be committing to delivering a meal for us once a month for the duration. So we're working on sort of these partnerships and donations right now to help cover it so that we don't have to use, as much ARPA funding for congregate meals.
Yeah, it's nice when the organizations within the town all support the senior center.
Yeah.
It's very nice.
The Avon Senior Center Director, Jennifer Bennett, reached out to CRT on behalf of us all earlier this week, tried to negotiate a lower price to CRT for the provided meals, and they were not willing to negotiate. The price is the price.
Okay. They've been very difficult to deal with. I remember when Diane was here, she tried to get an amount from them and she tried to work with them and they were very difficult, so. I mean, they do a great job with what they, I don't know what happens that makes. Goes to the town.
That exactly. There was some conversation about the amount, because the original ask from the senior center was 40,000, and they would try to do whatever. We discussed whatever and up the amount to 75, to make it more certain that, things can be covered, because the date is next Monday. Next Monday is that's when less money is provided by the federal, state governments to fund these programs. So it was a matter of acting quickly.
I saw something about it in the rare reminder and I went, oh, not again.
Yeah,
So,
we didn't have a lot of notice, so it was very short notice, so we're not the only ones scrambling. All centers are to figure out how they're gonna do this.
okay. Does anyone have anything else under old business to bring up? No? Okay. New business, upcoming activities.
Well, I guess I got ahead of myself. So I've already talked about that. Sorry about that.
Okay, don't we have volunteer of the year?
Can I ask a question about the upcoming activities?
Sure.
Sure.
May I ask how they are decided upon or go to look for somebody to come in? Can I ask how that is done?
Sure. So that's my job
Yeah.
as program coordinator. So I have a lot of people that call me wanting to come in and present. And then I also call people based on people that I might know, connections, activities that I want to bring here. I might look at what other senior centers are offering for ideas as well, because I don't always have original ideas. And then it's just a matter of, connecting and reaching out, asking them if they'll come, always trying to look for something that is free, to be honest with you, because most of our programming we don't charge for. And if we do, it's a very small charge. Or get a sponsor that can sponsor a program that's a little more expensive. And we do have a list of collaborative partners that we work with to do that. Our mission statement says that we will try to offer programming in 8 dimensions of wellness. So I try for that variety. So it's not all social, it's not all physical, it's not all intellectual. Many of the wellness dimensions many of our activities and presentations are multidimensional. So for example, an exercise class is a part of the physical dimension, but it's social because you're there with other people. We could even say it's intellectual because you're working your brain while you're exercising. So I try to get a variety of programs that hit each of those dimensions when I'm thinking about programming. Not all 8 in 1 month, but over the course of time, trying to bring in things that hit each of those dimensions.
And it's not easy to bring people in because she's saying, it's making it sound easy, but these people have to be vetted. So you just can't bring anyone in. That's a lot of work.
True. I mean, and it's not vetted background check or, but yeah, you want to know that they're going to do a good job while they're here. So it's either having in-depth conversations with them or calling other centers that maybe they have presented at or performed at, and just making sure that, yeah, they're going to do a good job while they're here.
Yeah, it's not all as easy as you make it sound.
Okay.
You do a good job with it. Any other questions? No. Volunteer of the year. One of my favorite programs.
So I think that that kind of ties into the next one, the dinner as well. So I know we start that process of volunteer of the year ahead of time. So we need to know when we're going to have the volunteer dinner so that we can start the volunteer of the year process before that. So I know, I think 2 years ago, we had it in August outside. Last year it was June inside. So I'd like to know from the commission, do we want to go back to May? Because I believe you used to have it in May, pre-pandemic. Do we want to keep it in June? We want to do it indoors, outdoors.
Is it done on a weekday or a weekend?
It's done on a week evening.
A week evening?
Mhm.
I mean, my suggestion would be after school, perhaps. get
Oh, we
that?
do, yeah.
Yeah.
So in the
So maybe
evening,
in like June,
oh, after school gets
Yeah.
out, sorry. Mhm.
yeah, I was gonna say if it's in the evening during the week, I don't know how that works, but.
I think most of our volunteers are retired, so they can make it in the evenings, even outside of the school year. Again, I can't speak to before I was here in 2020, but maybe the commissioners can about what works best. I mean, May or June is fine for us.
Yeah, it depends on whether we want it outside or not. I can't remember. I think Jamie started the outside.
Pre-pandemic, it was always May, indoors on a Thursday night, and whatever Thursday night in May, the commission decided. And that was fine for many years, and I don't think we did it all in we did a virtual one in 2020.
That's right.
And maybe in 2021 too. In 2022, we did outdoors because that was the requirement for gatherings at the time. We moved it to August because we were waiting for approval from the health district to be able to gather at all. And that came in August, so it was pushed back several months. But then last year we thought, well, it wouldn't be that bad of an idea to have a little time to plan. So we made it June rather than May. We were going to do it outside. We had the tent set up and everything, and then the weather forecast was for it to pour rain all night. So we moved it inside, and then it turned out to be beautiful. I don't know if anybody remembers that. It would have been a perfect night to have it outside. So there's plenty of flexibility there. I would just recommend that May's coming up pretty quickly right now. So if you're gonna do it in May, towards the end of May, but I thought June was a nice time to do it too.
Mhm.
Yeah, I will say it causes a lot of angst with the weather, because you have to order a tent. Then you can't cancel it last minute, and so you have to make a decision. You're going back and forth, and then you make the wrong decision, or not the wrong decision. So, I mean, I would be up for simplifying it and saying we'll have it indoors, even though having outdoors was lovely. It really was, and everybody enjoyed it. From our perspective, setting it up, it just can get a little crazy. We have to have plans for both indoors and outdoors.
Outdoor was just a COVID mitigation factor, and it was very nice. The
It
one
was.
year we did outside, it was a perfect night, but yeah, it does cause a lot of uncertainty and extra expense.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's probably cheaper to do it inside.
It is, yeah, right, because we don't have to get a tent.
Yeah.
I don't know what everybody thinks. I think
say June
I
inside,
like June.
and that gives enough time.
I'll vote for June in sight.
I agree, June is.
Fine.
Okay.
Okay. Do we want to take a vote, or everyone is in agreement, so?
Make a motion or
Yeah, you
Second.
want to make?
motion to, make the, volunteer of the year dinner, or the volunteer of the year dinner on for June of this year. Everyone motion by saying, aye
And have it inside.
and have it inside.
Right.
Motion by saying aye.
Does someone want a second?
Second.
Any more discussion? No. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
So it's unanimous.
Right. And then typically, Jamie, how far in advance do we start the application or the nomination
We
process?
can do it now if you'd
You can
like.
do it now, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, for June, I would say next week or two.
Yep, okay.
So Lillian, for what usually happens is, they get recommendations from the membership. And they go to you, right? And then you would kind of look them over and then bring their names to the commission. We usually set up a little committee and then decide who would be the volunteer or volunteers of the year. So that's how that person is chosen.
So they don't apply, it's more we find them and bring them in?
The membership,
Right,
They get
Yeah.
nominated, somebody gets nominated.
okay,
You know,
somebody,
they fill out a form, right? Isn't
Yeah.
it for, and then so somebody could come and nominate you to be a volunteer, you know, to be the volunteer of the year. And then that goes to, the senior center, and then it's discussed and decided at that point in time. Cause I don't know, last year there was like 30 or something. There was a lot of nominations, if I remember last year,
Mhm.
so.
Yeah, it wasn't it the IRS group?
It was the.
The
Yeah,
ARP.
tax.
Oh, the
tax
AR,
preparers.
yeah.
So the staff will review the nominations and make some recommendations, but it's ultimately up to the commission to decide who gets the award, because you technically, host the dinner. Oh, well, it comes out of your budget, and if you know
That's
that.
right.
it comes out of
It's
your
in our
very,
budget.
very tiny budget. Here.
So, first, or you can nominate yourself, I think, too, if you fill out the paper. I know in the past, people have, yeah, that she was asking. So we can set up a little committee to look at the names, if anyone is interested in being on the committee.
Sure.
Anyone else?
I am,
Mark?
I am also.
So Ed and Mark and Lillian. That's be the committee. And, you can start getting names or start your process.
Absolutely.
And then come up with a date in June.
Mhm.
so does the senior center, so I understand it comes from our budget, but does the senior center do the ordering of the food, the reserve, all that
We
kind of stuff?
do all that stuff.
Okay.
Mhm.
We
Yeah.
do everything, you just have to show up.
Yeah, right.
Enjoy and have fun.
And then so the committee that would just look through all of them and all the nominations. Okay, I want to make sure.
And if you walk down the hall that way, on the left, there's a big area with all pictures of the volunteers of the year.
Do we want to pick a date while we're all here?
Sure.
We can go back to a Thursday if that worked well in the past.
I'm fine with that.
We've got June 6th, June 13th, June 20th, June 27th. My preference would be one of the first three, like 3 weeks.
I am free all those dates, so
Me too.
anyone else, is someone on vacation or not gonna be around?
I'm free as well, so.
I'm open so far, but Barbara knows me on vacations.
Very true. Anyone else? Are you okay?
I guess so,
Too far ahead?
the beginning of June, I'd rather do than the end.
Okay.
How about the 13th,
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
we just, yeah.
June 13th?
I think that's good, because we're already in April,
Yep.
so it doesn't take a lot of time, and then probably a caveat, I don't know. We're to making sure that everything's being ordered, that they'll be able to accommodate that date too. I mean, the more time obviously you give them, the better chance you have of not bumping up to somebody that won't be able to service.
Sure.
Let's put it that way, so.
So would we suggest our first option would be the 13th and maybe our second option is the 20th? Just so you have a backup in case?
We could say that, but I don't see why we need to have a backup, as, you know, we've got, I think, plenty of time to order food, and we have plenty of choices of where we can get it from as well, so I think we'll be good.
Okay. So, Thursday, 6:13, and we usually do it at 5? Is it 5?
I thought it was 6.
6?
6 p.m.?
I couldn't remember. I
Let
just,
me check, the Council Nagel asked when,
Maybe excuse for a
graduation from
moment.
high school.
Should
Should assume no more spring, any more Sundays? I didn't want to say that out loud. Let's see.
You're only saying approval.
Counselor Gonzalez is, I think, watching this meeting, and I know she has a child who's graduating, maybe she knows. I can text her.
Okay.
Oh, no, I hit the wrong year.
Oh, graduation.
It is
Are you not,
the last day. Should be the 12th as of right now.
So we might be running into.
Because we haven't had any snow, any major snow days or anything. They're already built in.
So maybe the 20th?
and you're not finding a graduation date
I'm
online?
not sure why, but I'm not. Maybe I'm just missing something.
You might not set it till, well, no, they'd have to have a venue at this
Yeah.
point, wouldn't they?
Well, they're usually the venue's always the
June
same.
14th. June 14th, the next day.
Okay,
Oh,
all
okay.
right.
So I mean, if there's no power outages or bomb scares or anything like that.
Yeah.
Would any of our volunteers that would be going to the dinner perhaps helping with, all-night graduation? And there might be a conflict there?
Well, if we do it the 13th, then all-night graduation is the 14th. There shouldn't be.
Okay. I mean,
And again, I think the majority of our volunteers are older, and unless they had a grandchild, I'm not sure that they would do overnight graduation. It's hard enough for me to stay up all night when my kids graduated. I can't imagine being like 70 or 80 and doing that.
Yeah, I took the next day off. Okay, so
Great.
we're set.
Yeah.
And then you can call the committee together when you get a few names.
Sure.
And, maybe someone can think of a theme. If anyone has any ideas for a theme.
do you have examples of past themes?
We did a sports theme last year. That's the only one I can speak to.
Last year we did like, we're all a great
We
team.
make a great team, yeah.
The year before that, Justin, I don't remember. There was one year we did a movie, like a movie star theme. One year we did a beach theme. One year I think we did like a, gosh, I cannot remember. I can remember what the invitation looked like, but I don't remember what it said.
Okay.
The staff often bats around ideas for the themes, and we could kind of give you a couple of things to maybe think about, but we have a couple of staff members who are very creative, who like to do that
Yeah,
kind
they
of stuff, so.
But if you have any ideas, yeah,
ideas,
let us
sure.
know.
Membership renewal and fee for the year 24-25.
So you have been waiving our fees for the last several years.
And what is the donation? Is it the same amount that we usually get when we charge $5 a person? Is it about the same?
Are you asking what people are donating?
Yes.
I would say in general, we actually get a little bit more money. Would you agree with that? Yeah, when we just ask for donations instead of $5 resident fee and the $10 non-resident fee.
I like that because there's some people that can't afford it and there's some people that can and they give more, so. I don't know.
On average, yes. If you charge $5, you're gonna get $5. So a couple of people will throw in another 10 or 20 on top of it, but for the most part, you're gonna get $5. When you keep it open-ended and ask for donations, but also make it very clear that donations are appreciated and that we're accepting them, and it's not just free membership, with nothing, no possible way to donate or anything like that, or no expectation to donate. We do get people some people who give only $5, some people don't donate at all, which is fine, so we're not requiring it, but you get way more people that give the $10, $20, $30. We end up coming out ahead.
I was gonna ask if you knew about, okay, well, this is ahead.
Well, that's what I was trying to ask, but I don't think I
There has
said
been
it very
some
well.
evidence, just so you know, and my opinion on the director side is that you should continue to waive the fee. But there has been some evidence through other senior centers that generosity is starting to wane from the pandemic. So more people would just be taking advantage of a free membership and not as asked to donate as they were, when this trend started a couple of years ago. Just something to keep in mind.
Yeah, as other costs raise, so people are cutting back on certain things or whatever, so.
But last year, we were more profitable.
Correct.
I would suggest keep doing it until we have a bad year.
Just something to keep an eye on.
I agree. Mark?
Well, I had to step out, but I apologize.
We're trying to decide whether we should charge the $5 fee for people that live in Newington and 10 for people that live out of town, or just make it nothing and ask for donations.
Based on the short time that I have been on the committee, it just seems like if we just keep it at, not charging a nominal fee of 5 or 10 and just what you can give. I think that would probably be my personal opinion, just to keep it that way.
I agree to, I'm sorry,
Go ahead.
I agree to basically keep it free, and if someone wants to vote or donate, that would be wonderful too.
So you do, why don't we take a vote? Who wants to, oh, do we need the motion first? Yeah, we need a motion.
I make a motion that we keep the senior center fees for the 24-25 membership renewal year free, and ask for donations if possible.
Okay. Second, someone?
Second.
Okay. Any more discussion? No. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, so carried.
All right. Saved again.
All right, the elderly nutrition program update, I think we did that.
I think we did that. And I think we covered everything I would have covered. Maybe just to let you know that a letter did go out. The Chamber of Commerce, if you haven't seen it, they emailed my letter asking for donations as part of their email newsletter last week. And that got picked up by other people who spread it. So it's a lot more people are aware. And I am dropping off letters at restaurants, reaching out to our collaborative partners, to ask for monetary donations or donations of meals. And we have been receiving monetary checks from members of the community. And I've also talked to a few restaurants that are willing to donate meals, as well as some of our collaborative partners. So I think we're going to be in a good place for providing those meals, and just trying to keep the membership abreast of all of this, because, we gave them basic details, but until the meeting last night and a couple other irons in the fire got ironed out, I didn't want to say too much. So they're all aware of how things are going to be covered at this point.
So is there
They're very grateful.
there's some way to thank the community for their donations, and restaurants, I'm sure, would appreciate some advertisement.
We will certainly let them know who is sponsoring a meal if they donate a meal. And then we will send thank you notes to all of the monetary donors, and then as well as restaurants if they're donating food.
It'd just be nice if the people that come in for lunch know who's
We
donating.
will absolutely recognize that, yeah.
Good. Okay. Determine the next meeting date and agenda.
Okay, maybe May.
May,
May 8th,
May.
oh,
Oops, I'm back in.
the first is the first Wednesday. May first.
Yeah,
the first.
the first, May 1st. Okay, May 1st, 6 o'clock.
So you want okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
great. So nice to have a quorum. I think we spent almost a year without a quorum. It was awful. This is really nice. And I neglected to introduce Lillian and Edward. Edward up
Again,
there.
those Lily.
And I don't know if they were introduced, you weren't here last month, so, but Ed was, right? Are you Ed or Edward?
Edward.
You were here last. So anyway, I just wanted to welcome them to the commission and thank you for attending. And so now we have public participation. Any comments?
Two parties. State. Concern and involving what we previously talked about, Meal on Wheels and those funds coming forth and they have more cloudy than we do to try to rectify the matter. So council went beyond money. They also want to get to the forefront of letting know how concerned we are and have our elected officials and others try to resolve this and not make it an ongoing problem.
And just to clarify, did you want us to do the letter or are you guys doing the letter?
You can do, as far as I'm concerned, yeah, you're a citizen, you can do letters, but the council themselves,
Are also.
we all are going to sign a letter saying how concerned we are. A number of years ago, without going into details, when having to do with problems with policing in town and crime, whatever, that previous council, the fourth one, wrote a letter and got other towns to add their support to it, to try to get elected officials to rectify some laws that could be changed to help our local police department to more effectively police in town. So that seemed to have some effect. So definitely citizens sometimes have more clout than a town council would, believe it or not. So,
And
yeah, right.
I know.
We're not gonna deny anyone.
I know Jimmy mentioned that you were in talks with the Avon Senior Center, but do we have a relationship with like all the other senior centers? And maybe perhaps write a letter from the senior centers if we can reach out to the other ones?
We do, we are part of an organization, I'm the vice president of an organization called Connecticut Association of Senior Center Personnel. And many of those people are affected as well. So there is a lot of communication going on for things about, the attempted negotiations, information about what's happening and shared resources. And then we would also plan to do some lobbying as well.
And if anyone wants to write a letter to CRT, if we call the office, can they give us the address to write the letter?
Sure.
So if you're interested in writing a personal letter as a citizen and show your concern, you can get the address of CRT from the office.
Yeah, absolutely. Try to look it up right now.
Okay, anything else? No? Jamie, anything?
I can just give you that address so that people have.
Oh, you
minutes
have
in
it?
our minute. Yeah.
Okay,
So it's CRT at 555 Windsor Street in Hartford. 06120.
oh, that's very helpful. Okay. Well, I personally am gonna write a letter. All right. If there's nothing else, can I have a motion to adjourn? Someone?
Some second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. We'll see you in May.
Have a good night.